right, so welcome back to the Chop Up. We are episode 11.
All right.
So we're moving along.
There we go.
Up here in Tacoma, Washington with Jordan and Incline Cider Company. All right.
Welcome.
Jordan. What's going on, buddy? Good. How are you? Yeah, good.
Good to see you.
Come on in.
How's it going?
Come on in.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to Incline Cider House.
Dude, very nice. The
Yeah.
location's amazing.
Yeah, definitely in the brewery blocks here in downtown Tacoma. So kind of paying homage to some of the historic breweries that have been here with this new project. So
That's sick.
cool building and lots to come in the future. But we've been like the first spot here that opened up. So been here since November of 19.
Sweet.
And just getting dialed in and slinging cider. We got 16 tap handles of cider here, so definitely one of the largest selections in the Puget Sound area. And
That's cool.
just sharing good craft cider with the world.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You left us a spot for the RV too. That's amazing.
Absolutely. That loading zone has definitely paid its worth out here. So
Has it? Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
That's
from
cool.
having like no parking available to our little patio and an enormous loading zone for food trucks and mobile design units, we're good to go.
That's perfect.
We're good to
Cool.
go.
Well, yeah, can you give us a quick run through of the place?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's our quaint little spot. We're a family-owned place, so it definitely fits the vibe in terms of, we just want it to be cozy in here. We have like the big communal tables. Certainly pre-COVID, we had a huge emphasis on we wanted like as big of a bar as we could fit in the space, just to have that interaction with customers, and can't wait to get that back. And it'll definitely come. But
It will. It's on its way.
yeah, but a small little spot. So honestly, what you see is what you get, but we can kind of got our little merch corner over here, our to-go cooler, our 16 taps behind. Any requests or any favorites or dealer's choice?
I'm going to go with the, what was the one I had? The grapefruit.
cider?
Grapefruit 7?
No, the grapefruit was,
Yep.
yeah,
Can't go wrong.
it was amazing.
Little collaboration that we did with the Crosby Hop Farms in Woodburn, Oregon. So for their Top Wire Hop project,
Okay.
pouring at their beer garden. Yeah.
That's great. Cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll do the Marion Berry.
Marionberry it is.
Yeah, keep it Portland. Keep
Yup.
it Portland.
That's good. Damn. Heck yeah.
Where are you going, Jordan? I think I'm going to go with the original hopped. #1 classic.
The hopped. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at the color of that thing. Damn.
That's awesome.
A little taste of the Northwest. All right, and Jordan hop for you. That's going to be a hop for this Jordan as well.
So we got the two Jordans.
That's right.
So Incline Jordan. How long, when did you start this company?
So Incline Cider Company was started in 2015. It's been fun, especially working with my dad and keeping it family owned.
Yeah.
The cider company's been around for almost 6 years now, and the cider bar is pretty new. That's been around since like November of 19.
Okay.
And that's my wife Leslie, by the way.
Hey, how you doing?
She's
Sorry. We're
my better
invading
half and the one that runs the joint here.
Cool. Well, let's go sit down and talk about the whole design process.
Sounds good.
Cool. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
All right.
Yeah. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, harder ways to spend a work day, right?
Oh,
Yeah, this
it's
is good.
Not a bad Wednesday for sure. So we're gonna
Happy
dive.
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh yeah, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Happy Cinco.
Can it's noon and we're drinking, so perfect day.
It seems about right.
All right. Perfect day.
We might test out some blood orange margaritas later.
you go.
We're going to be on brand with Cinco de Mayo. So
Yep.
there you
Yeah, it'll be great.
go. Yeah.
So we want to come up here because we worked with you about, what was it, a year ago? Year and a half?
Yeah, seems like probably a year and a half
Oh.
ago, all things considered, maybe
Yeah.
a year in between the two, but
Yep. Yeah.
close to.
Yep. So we
Time
you-
flies.
It does fly.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yep. So you reached out to basically rebrand the company and the packaging.
Yeah.
You personally are a designer and did the logo, packaging, kind of everything for the company up until that point, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. It's like you're a designer, and I think just naturally had to fall into that to some degree.
Right.
Starting a small company and just finances being a thing from day one. It was like, how do you figure it out? And so just kind of Googled my way through Illustrator and
Yep.
did the best that I could with kind of our first iterations of cans and stuff. So.
Yeah, which we have kind of there by Jordan.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Those are the cans.
One
and
of the original ones and
yeah.
one of the redesigns here.
Yeah, so kind of have them sitting side by side. So it kind of got to a point where you figured, hey, it's time for a rebrand, or you also had some issues with the packaging that you.
Yeah, it seems like there's always evolving, whether it's regulations or notes that need to be included on the cans. So whether it's adding the tax classes to all the cans or adding, nutrition facts, ingredients, things like that. Those little tweaks, it's like rerunning the can. So you need to have new plates made, the whole nine. So it's kind of got to that point where it's like if we're gonna make another small change, maybe it's time to make a major change. And the biggest thing for us, like initially, was like we just want everything to be really clean and simple. And of course, using like what I felt was my limited skill set at the time was like, how can I accomplish that? And so there come in our first set of cans and packages. But I think forward thinking, we had been around for about 5 years at the time, and it was less thinking about like where are we right now and how do we like change things. It was more like where do we want to be in like 3 to 4 years, knowing how long it takes these kind of cycles to like fully happen, get implemented into market, and then like live for a while and see how how we like it, how consumers react to it, and how it fits in with like the overall brand. So yeah, it was time for an update, and we felt more of like a refresh, and wanting to keep like a lot of the same aesthetic, but how can we, at a certain point, how can we make our simple cans even simpler and bolder and cleaner?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, we were stoked to help you out, and that's what was kind of cool and a bit of a challenge, because you were like, hey, we want to keep it clean. We want to keep that same aesthetic, don't lose the mountains. Let's,
sure.
I don't want it to be totally off in left field. So
yeah, you want those customers to know when they go back and see it on the shelves, it's still the same brand. They don't want to be confused with something totally different.
100%.
Yeah.
So let's dig into some of these designs here.
It's kind of fun to see that packaging exploded right there. That was I just like seeing that. That's kind of fun.
Me
for
too.
sure.
That's
that's just part of the iteration. You make a can,
Yeah.
But then you have to do the cartons as well.
Yeah.
So you have all the panels to work with on the cartons and figure out how does the vibe, translate from the cans to the cartons.
That's like a Rubik's Cube, also figuring out which sides where. I'm sure you maybe
For sure.
printed it out and you're staring at it.
Oh
and,
yeah, absolutely. I've done everything wrong many a times, so I've learned the hard way every time. But that's been the beauty of it, of just willing to try and figure it out. And it's been fun too. But with our packaging and stuff and that original setup, like we started the company with just the hop cider. There was a period of time where that's the only cider we sold at retail. And about 6 months later, we introduced the Marionberry. But we started even at that point of having 2 ciders around. So easy to differentiate. We had like the gold vibe and then that kind of like purple blackberry Marion vibe. Yeah. But then as you start entering seasonal items and additional package sizes, that simplicity almost it got kind of lost a little bit in between all that. So that's why looking back at some of this and seeing how it was harder for it to translate between like all the different SKUs we had at that point. And even this package we're looking at is a upgraded version where the first ones had no color on them, except for where it says hop cider on there. That was where it was colored, very similar to the cans.
Yep.
So the initial cartons looked like that too, where they were like all white on the sides and on the front and didn't have anything. So that was like a big upgrade when we added a little color, and for retailers and stuff too. They're like, thank you. We can't tell the difference between, your 6-packs and cases.
It's like that system that you're starting to build,
Absolutely.
The whole shebang.
Yep. I mean, even to pallets being stacked in a warehouse of the distributors being like, how hard it is. We have to like literally walk up to every single one and make sure we're moving the right pallet and stuff without any big differentiation.
True.
I mean, even being an incline or just a cider drinker, seeing a lot of the ciders, they're usually very colorful, full gradients, full photos. They're just kind of overcooked. So
yeah,
I mean, when you come and just see a white can, that just jumps off the shelf at you. When I'm looking through all the options. And
that's huge in beer right now too. I mean, just the whole there's a whole world of art that exists in beer branding and beer graphics and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so as much as I love all that stuff, I've really tried to stay away from that too, to be able to keep it manageable for myself and just overall simpler.
Yeah, you start getting into drawing a new illustration for every single flavor you have coming out. It's
it's work.
I'm sure some of these beer companies are going, shit, we probably should have made a little system here and not try to do something new for everything, every single flavor, So
sure.
Yeah. All right, well, let's dive into to round one here. So usually if we're going to do a project like this, it's like we'll tackle the logo first and then the icons at the end, type of thing. But since your icons are so, it's so much part of the brand and so heavy, we did it all at once, which is fun. I mean, it's great to always, design icons. So
yeah, like since that was such a part of the branding initially, it's like we can't just leave this piece out.
Right.
Like if a person's going to go to the store, they're going to see these as a part of that kit, so
Sure.
Yeah.
continuing that on, you got to include it.
So here's comp one. So sent this one over to you. One thing I did like about this was just the on the L and the E, that kind of incline on the type. I was like, ooh, that's kind of, I love that because it's kind of giving that
It's
incline.
clean. It's clean, but still is like kind of unique there.
Yeah, it's just giving a little nod towards
even the mountain range. I like that mountain range. It's like a little modern
Graphic.
but different graphic.
Yeah. And looking at this one, that was one of the ones I know. I'm trying to like rack back through every one that we did go through as we will, but thinking like this was one of those. It's like I see that initially and like knowing where we came from and with you guys being the first person I've ever reached out to do any sort of graphic for anything, to kind of have some help and some different eyes on these things. So it's like a little nerve wracking of like, I live in a bubble and I have, and so it's like now I'm trying to step out of that a little bit. So getting that and like, okay, like I see that makes sense to me. Like it feels, it has those vibes to it for sure.
Heritage is still there a little bit.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so then with each of these we basically did the type, the icons, and then we talked about doing a badge as well.
Yep.
So each one has like those 3 pieces. So this was that badge.
Yeah, I like the way that Jordan mocked up the icons with the badge and the way they're sitting in there. That was a challenging point for me working on the project, is like, where do we put these 4 icons inside this badge? They're a little smaller. They're kind of detailed. How do we fit them in? And the way you did that, I think, is great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
We have our icons and our mountains and stuff, but we didn't have like that definitive like badge or branding moment. It's all kind of like has been piecemeal. So seeing some things like that, like we're immediately excited to be like, oh wow, like you really tying it all together.
Bring it all into one. One badge.
Ooh,
so then
you see it on the can. That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, this one came out great. It is unique, and there's like so much that we liked about it, and thinking about it, like you start to go through like the different, breaking it down, like what do I love about it, what's too much, and but I think again immediately opening that up and be like, I've never seen our cans any other way than like what I've done with them. So
and
it's
this
like,
has a big black stripe around it. You're kind of like, I don't
And
know.
some gradient.
Yeah.
Totally different.
So this is one of my favorites. It's a good one for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, the part I was challenged with was, we had to do everything in one color, so it's like sometime I kind of cheated here, as you can see. I'm like, oh, I got to put the second tone in there, I have to. But seeing what you guys ended up doing with it, it doesn't need the second tone. But in the moment, I was just like battling that aspect. So.
Totally. Immediately, we loved a lot of aspects of this one, and even I really liked the gold in the mountains, kind of like that shadow piece on the mountains. But then going back and thinking, okay, well, they're gold, which is kind of only exists on our hop cider. So it's like, now do I have to change that for every cider? And then there's going to be an orange shadow and a pink shadow. And I was like,
I think any of those would have worked until we got to this darker one. This dark
There you
purple
go.
sitting next to the black would have not worked. All the lighter tones would have worked, but
Sure.
Yeah.
So Dustin took it to the badge.
Yeah, this was another piece where we had to lock up again all the 4 items in there, and that for me on the badge portion, that was the challenge. Like, oh man, how am I going to show these? We have the kind of plus idea. From there, like, what do we do? What do we do after this? Because you kind of had the cross originally,
what you see on the can.
So I rotated that, and then after this one, it's like, oh well, shit, what do I do now? You know what I mean, I kind of just did the one in my mind, but
The low hanging fruit one.
Then took it to the can.
did the old ribbon kind of top on that hop cider.
Sure.
When
the
you're
angle off of the mountains and
when designing it, I think on the computer screen it looked great, but to see it, if it was on the can, I think it would have been over the top, kind of too playful, maybe kind of too young.
How different is too different, and where does it like kind of just like, let's just modernize it a little bit, and so this one had a lot of those elements that made it feel right at home with some needed updates.
So different. This is you, Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That kayak first and
Yep.
foremost. When Jordan did
The
this
kayak
one,
is sick.
I saw the kayak and I just kind of pushed me
That
where
little
I was
icon?
like,
Yeah.
damn, I need to bring it because the kayak is great. So
I mean,
For sure.
The binoculars, it's fun.
Jordan and
Yeah,
I have
sure.
like a great internal, you know, I don't know, symbiosis. So it's like I'm like, all right, I need to up my game because that kayak's doing
And
it.
this was cool because I felt like it was like a bit of a departure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very thin and clean as opposed to, you know, what Dustin was doing was
Right.
like, okay, is he going to be okay with this super bold type, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where this was headed a little bit cleaner in that direction.
You still have that stroke around the can, kind
Yep.
of just treated
Yeah.
a little differently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this was certainly one of the further like departures of like a little more out there, which again, I think like it was so healthy for me to see it,
yeah.
like the potential of it mocked up in all these different ways. Yeah, certainly like again, a bold, straight fawn in a lot of aspects, but very different. And what I loved about it was like the cleanness of like having those two like branding moments you see right there that are like, those are like fun, easy stamps for shirts, for hats, for any materials, you know.
So this was yours as well, Dustin, right?
Yep. I was still trying
Yep.
to keep it clean, you know,
Yep.
but also trying to do something a little different with those eyes. You know, I'm like, all right, you know, try to get the dot up there, but not really, kind of hint at it. If anything, the way the icons turned out and locked up, that was the piece I was most excited about on this batch. And then as we get to the badge, I was like, yeah, this is the badges. You know, I'm really digging the badge.
Yeah, we were definitely stoked on that. There was a lot of conversation about that, and we tried, you know, because I took some stuff that you guys were like mocking up to and would like, you know, cut and paste aspects
around,
and
yeah.
be doing my own cans and
Yeah.
stuff. And like, okay, well, how would these icons look on this one? And just like some quick trials. And we were excited about these. There's definitely something to it to give them like kind of their own little moment like that.
It works on the can.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
this
straightforward.
isn't a very far departure from, you know,
No.
the middle section changed, but
Yep.
but this is where you kind of brought in the type and everything.
I
you
feel
know?
like this
So-
almost has almost a tech, not tech centered, but almost like
Yeah.
outdoor tech, like whatever that high end like REI gear,
Yeah.
like
For sure.
those people could relate to that brand.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's definitely not far. And yeah, like I said, just looking at all the different aspects and where we get to that final piece of just like the cut and paste, mix and mash. But yeah, this one was really cool.
And this one, this was like, I was glad because you did this, Jordan.
It's a collab.
Oh, was it?
collab.
Okay.
We were running out of
Yeah.
time. I think I had a start, and then I'm like, you know, it's due at 5. Like, shit, Jordan had a couple free hours, so I had some mountains.
Yeah.
That honestly I stole from Brandon years back.
Yep.
Passed them to Jordan, and do that incline type there is totally different
For
from
sure.
what he has. But just to see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's fun to see.
Yeah, that was like one of my, one of the later ideas, and I was just like, why haven't we done like just the type
Incline,
on our
yeah, with
rise?
the-
You
yeah.
know,
Right.
like,
Right.
let me just try this quick.
Yeah.
It might be a little too playful, but
Sure.
we have to try it. You know.
Gotta see it.
Yeah, like a little playful, but then certainly like I look at that badge and I was like, I got hung up on that badge for a little while, and I was like, man, I was like, because it's so clean with the bold text, Incline Cider Company, and then those mountains and stuff having like that fun detail with the sun and still fitting the icons in there. I was like, there's a lot going on there too, so it's like pulling at me of like, okay, like maybe there is something here, then that initial one, like I love it, but it's like that definitely again a big departure where I was like, okay, I was like, I like it, I was like, but do I want to marry it, and a lot of cool aspects of it.
Yeah, and then this is where you kind of grabbed their frame,
The container
kept it,
shape,
kept it, consistent with that, which is cool.
Even that full dip of color, I love it. I think if they only had one color, this would work forever. But that same
Like you
issue,
said,
as soon as we get to these dark
such an
tones,
issue,
Yeah, the color is it's one of those things. We've tried to keep that a footnote to a degree, and again, it's like how do you differentiate 9 different products, and color generally is going to be the way to do that, either color or just 9 uniquely different labels, which then you run into how important is it to have like that cohesive branding moment across everything. So
yeah, you kind of lose the brand equity a little bit if you were to do 9 completely different labels.
Sure.
And I think like we were talking earlier, some of those craft beers are kind
a
of
lot of-
getting lost in the
there's a lot
sauce
of
with that a
them,
little
yeah.
bit. So I think this is
sure, yeah.
the way to keep the branding true. And someone like my girlfriend who loves this drink, it's a no-brainer. She's like, oh, there's that flavor and there's that flavor, and they're
I
the
love the
same.
purple one.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the green
Yep,
one.
Grab me
Yep.
the purple one
Yeah,
when you're at
Get
the
the green
store.
one. I can't remember what it's
Yep.
called. Give me the green one.
This
Yeah.
is where you guys were kind of exploring a little bit more of the, is it a graphic based mountain range, or is there a bit of illustration and it kind of borderlines on, realism in a way, like that last set, and that's kind of where this one was headed.
Yeah.
Yeah, even trying to introduce the color in a different way where it kind of interacted with the actual badge a little more. That was kind of what I was trying on this one. Make it make it a traditional badge. But
Yep.
yeah, and after I haven't seen it in a year, so I'm like, yeah, good thing you didn't pick that one. That was,
Yeah.
Even that's kind of got some Hogwarts vibes. So good thing we didn't
Little
pick-
Celtic vibe. I kind of got that with like the
The checkered out.
what is it, like the
It's like
you
a
know, the
family crest. Yeah,
kind of vibe
sure.
a little bit.
Someone here has a tattoo of that. So
Yeah.
this works way better on the can. You know,
It
seeing
does.
it
100%.
just
Yeah.
as a logo,
Yeah.
you're like, you know, good start. But to see it on the can, it's like, okay, I see where the color ties in. It works out.
Right.
The angle of the bottom of the badge, you know, we're using it on the hop cider type.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
for sure. And then this one, totally different direction.
Yeah.
Jordan,
Yeah.
is this the first one you did? I think,
It
right?
might have been.
I think it
Yeah.
was because you showed it to me, and I was like, okay, you just opened my mind to what we can show. Because
Things can
For
be
sure.
different.
I
yeah.
think I went more wild and then came back
Then
and
came
toned
back,
myself
yeah.
back and was like, all right, I
Yeah.
gotta go back more towards the heritage stuff. But it was fun, you know, to try different stuff. Like,
Yeah.
what does
Yeah,
a modern
totally.
mountain look like,
Yep.
and how do you bring that in? You know,
even to see the triangle and the C, like that's
Yep.
great. You know,
Super cool.
If you would have gone down this route, that triangle would have lent itself to, you know, all the signs in here.
Yep.
You know,
got a
everything would
little
have been a
element to work
triangle.
with
But
there.
And I love the icons and the circles and stuff too, just again to kind of give them like a nice home and space.
yeah, good looking badge there too. Again,
Badge
the, way,
Uh-huh.
the way those icons are held in there, I love it.
And then works well in the can.
It works
Kinda
really
good,
well on
yeah,
the
it
can.
does.
Again, I
It's
think
kinda
that's
cool.
what the icons having their own like placeholder and fitting into that color a little bit. There was a lot about this that was intriguing. And again, when you look at the bottom half of the can, that's not a huge departure from
Yeah.
where we ended up.
So that was round one.
Round one.
All right.
So what was good from round one though is you, like you said, you grabbed a bunch of different pieces, you know, the mountains type, different icons, and kind of pieced some stuff together and came back. I mean, you're honestly almost like a dream client in a way that you came back and you kind of knew you were able to look at all that and kind of go, cool, but no, piece, head in this direction.
Yeah.
You know, like
Some
for
people
sure.
can't see that vision.
No.
yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Sure. Just the super generic feedback of like, I kind of like these five, so like do them better.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
I just see more? You know, and it's like,
You
oh,
literally
shit,
said it exactly
yeah,
how it is,
yep.
and we're like,
Yeah, that's like
I don't
worst
know-
case
I don't know what
scenario.
that
Yeah.
means. I love red, you love blue.
Sure.
This isn't gonna
Well,
work
and
out.
talking with my wife too, like she's like my sounding board for all the graphic stuff and like the aesthetic. Like I love to see how she will react to something because it's such a. Again, I feel like I'm in a bubble a lot of times,
Totally.
but getting that feedback and being like knowing like I want the best product. Like I have to tell you guys what I want to some degree. Like it's. If I'm gonna get what I want, I have to like try to share as much as possible. And even for me, with like, I can play around in Illustrator too. I'm not a wizard, but like
Right.
I can get as close and like throw a couple things and be like, this is kind of more what I'm envisioning and share that as opposed to.
It helps us.
I was gonna
honestly.
say that
It
goes a
does.
long way.
Yeah,
honestly.
Can we record that? And just play
Yeah.
it. Play,
There you go.
play it every time for every new
Yeah.
client. Here you go.
Yeah, listen to
Yeah, listen to this client. This is what. Yeah. So
So those icons look. Those icons are it. I think I'm like trying to look at the thing. Oh, that's the one.
Yep, that's the
Yep.
one for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think on this, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were kind of like, I want to see, does it need the mountains? Mm-hmm. You're like, I want to see what it looks like with no mountains. Maybe it's strong enough it doesn't need the mountains.
And the type's
Yeah.
different. That was
Yeah.
the type with the triangle and the eye that kind of give it that dot up top.
Yep. The mountains were a big thing because it felt like such a big part of our like origins of starting with our simplistic can, and that was a part of it. But again, like not having those like super defined branding moments, it was fun to see it with nothing, and it did work, honestly.
It did. Yeah. And then the badge, this is almost the
you're
exact
wearing that
badge.
right
I think
there.
that's one. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I got
Yep.
on the back.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
back, yeah.
But,
Exactly.
That's it.
Yep,
Yeah, we swapped out a little text at the bottom, but other than
Yep.
that, it's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
And then this is where,
yeah,
you know,
it's-
it's kind of like seeing it on the can, no mountains,
Mm-hmm.
it's just incline.
It
you
is
know?
interesting to see
Yeah.
without the mountains.
Yeah. And it again, I don't think it necessarily needs it. That's like leaning on the icons is kind of like the holding on to that moment. But it does work without it. And that is very similar to our first cans. I mean, literally ditch the mountains, move it up, make it a little bigger. You're pretty similar there.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we moved on to this
Oh,
one,
yeah.
which I think was,
Jordan's mountains, my type.
Yep.
Yep.
Little combination. See how that looked.
Those
Yeah.
icons are holding strong though. Those
Absolutely.
icons are.
And then those again, that mountain setup, like that was talked about a lot too, of like that was solid. It was unique and different. We definitely kind of played with those quite a while.
And then same badge.
Same
were
badge.
set
Yep,
on the-
we were sold
I think
on
at
the
this
badge.
point we were set on the
Yeah.
badge. Yep. We went into round 2 with the badge.
Yep.
Picked.
Ooh,
so.
that doesn't look bad.
No. I mean, that could have been.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Could have been that. Yeah.
Yeah, again, with the second round was like we were much more narrow targeted,
which was great.
Close.
Yeah. So this was damn near.
This is the one.
This is the
This
one.
is the
Yeah,
one.
This is damn near
Except
it.
for the
Yeah.
sub-
The
Subtext.
subtype. Is,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
thing.
Yep, we
That's
changed
the only-
the font.
Yep.
Yep.
But we had
Yeah.
the trees downsized from the
Yep.
original one,
Yep.
just as more of like a footnote.
It's
Yeah, I
on,
think
yeah.
I put those trees on blast, and then
Yeah.
Dan,
Yeah.
did it justice right
Yeah.
there.
Same
And
badge.
Same
Yeah.
badge.
just
love
different
loving
type,
that
yeah.
badge, and that's where it's like, okay, what's this going to look like on the can?
I'm glad you didn't put that black stroke on the top of the color. I'm glad you didn't
Yeah.
run that. That
Yeah.
would have been just an eyesore. I think so.
Yeah.
For
For
sure.
sure. It didn't-
And again, like you said, it's like that. It would be very problematic running through the barcode that where it sits on the cans, and then
Yeah.
again through any text that's going to go like on the side ingredients. It just a little more flexibility on the overall play of the cans.
So then in this round, we still presented this one again. I think you wanted to add
Yeah,
some minor
I think
changes.
the font is
Yeah.
is different, a little bolder.
Yep. Totally different, mountains, more,
Yep.
more graphic, more illustrated, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the one. Like I
This is
mentioned,
the
we
badge,
really
yeah.
liked
Yeah.
that vibe of the badge, so changing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I still really like that. Like I said, don't be surprised if we see that end up on a T-shirt
On a
or
tee
something.
or, yeah.
That is I think it is a T graphic. 'Cause
Yeah.
Usable.
even though they're different mountains, they're it's a
the same
artistic
idea. Yeah.
Totally.
interpretation of the same mountains. If you
Mm-hmm.
got the three of them on there,
Yeah.
you'll be good.
Yeah. So then the can mock-ups. I don't mind the name knocked out of the white there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It just adds another layer.
Absolutely.
And it would work in any color.
It would.
Or sometimes where you have that black that surrounds
Yeah.
it, the dark tones don't really sit next to the black. Or
Yep.
this, because it's
That's
next to
gonna-
the white,
100%.
you wouldn't have any issues.
Yep.
Yeah. So now
Yeah, that's-
we're pretty much
that's
it.
pretty
This is
much
pretty
it.
much done. Yeah.
Yep.
New subtype.
Yeah, the new
Yep.
subtype with
Yep.
the cider company. I think we were going back and forth on that.
Yeah. Again, I think it's that overall simplicity of
Mm-hmm.
like just not playing with your eyes at all. Like it is all uniform and
Yeah.
simplicity. I mean, that's how we like to do things. So.
Yep. The badge, final badge, which is on
Yep,
the back.
a little different text on the bottom.
Yeah,
Just
what
again,
is the-
family owned is like important. Like it is my dad and I. So we've always like it's a fun story to share, and it still is that way. And 2015. So
It's
Yeah.
great. So final can design. That's it. And
Oh, this
then-
is the part where I'm
then we
glad
moved-
Dan handled this part, because if he would have had
and then
me
we
do
moved
this,
on to the packaging. Hey, I mean, give it up to Jordan. He basically wanted one final approved, packaging comp, and
Yeah.
then you went through and changed out all the colors and
oh damn,
everything,
you did
yeah.
that.
Yep. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
for
all
the
the
most
all the
part. Yep,
colors,
yeah,
and then
yep, yeah.
worked on did all the cartons and stuff
Yep,
too.
yeah.
And
Shit.
Nice work, man.
which
thanks. Yep.
These cans though, seeing them like this, Dan showed me these when they came in, and I was excited
We
because
were all
we didn't
hyped
know what
that
the
day at the
colors were gonna
office.
look like.
Sure.
We didn't know how like stark they were gonna be. So
yeah,
he-
that was the first image we
yeah,
saw.
he sent this through, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh shit, that
see the
looks
little family of 'em,
really
we're like,
good.
yeah.
Yep.
So then after this, you reached out for a couple fun apparel tees.
Yeah.
We're always down for apparel. So
We want to get to that point where we can do stuff that is different and unique. It doesn't all have to be like, here's our like 3 branding elements, make a bunch of t-shirts out of that. It's like, let's do something off the wall that's Incline branded.
Totally.
And, kind of that's where we ended up with a few of these concepts and certainly where we want to go in the future of just having, call it seasonal or just limited. We'll just do a run of, couple hundred of these tees or whatever, and then we'll come up with a new design and put something else out and
Totally.
just have some fun with it.
So-
Yep, that was dubbed the Southwestern Sun tee.
Ooh.
So,
oh, there you
I
go.
like that.
All right.
We don't have too much sun up here, so we have
Yeah.
to, we have to
live
appreciate
through
it.
that,
The
yeah.
sun
and that's
gods.
Leslie and I. We
Yeah.
lived in Arizona for about 6 years, and so
Yeah.
that was like kind of definitely kind of we saw that, and the text and the font was all like kind of those Southwest vibes a little bit. So we were like, oh, love, let's
Yep.
go.
Totally.
Yeah. And then Jordan's here.
Yeah, this one was a no-brainer.
Snag a cold
Yeah.
one.
Snag a cold one.
Yeah.
And the
Definitely.
I don't know if you were running this tagline before this. Maybe you were, but
That was
I
really
loved it.
really the beginning of it and revamping the cans. So we got that on the cans and got it all trademarked and everything.
Did
so
you?
it's,
Yeah, nice.
it's
Perfect.
it's
Yeah.
good that it's ours now, but we've really never had that. I mean, we run off of quality craft cider just as a overall brand statement, but not something that's necessarily specific to us. And those are grab a cold one and get outside just kind of reiterates the vibe of being outdoor friendly, and we're adventure minded people. And cider has always been a perfect accompaniment to anything we got going on outside, from the boat to the trails to being on the mountain, So this one was super fun.
Yeah, perfect slogan.
Yep.
Perfect slogan.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. So moving on, let's wrap this up. So last night, actually, sent you some. You reached out for some trailer graphics, semi-trailer graphics. It's like what, 40 foot and 26 foot?
Yep. Yeah, I think we got a 40 foot and a 26 foot. So just an opportunity, working with some of our distributor partners, the trucks that they drive all around town. In Portland, there is a truck cruising around currently with Incline Cider, but it's got the OG like Marionberry and hopped cans on it.
Okay.
So the branding a little outdated at this point. And again, I think back to I designed those truck graphics like 4 years ago. Even if I spent the time to develop them now, like I could come up with something that I'd feel a lot better about, that would make a lot more sense, that would probably have a little longer life in it. But again, a lot going on these days. I just figured, hey, this is a good opportunity. We're going to do 2 new trucks, reach out to you guys and see like, hey, can I get some fresh eyes on this? Again, as opposed to me kind of being in my bubble and trying to figure out what makes the most sense. So
For sure.
This one is cool. A lot of color on it, kind of just showcasing the whole portfolio.
Yeah.
I'm definitely inspired by just a classic, maybe Coors truck that has all the cans on there. Dan, we were kind of spitballing. He brought the idea up. I'm like, no brainer.
Little simpler here. Huge Incline Cider type.
Yep, love that. I mean, that's a big focal point. It's just like that branding moment. Definitely love like that stripe with the angle. It's kind of got like a little 80s race stripe vibe to it.
Yeah.
The challenge we were having while making this was the color. Are we going to have color? Yes or no? Looking at the cans, we should. But then the question is what color do we use? Because the truck's not a flavor. So we try to pick the flagship color, which we think is this. But obviously,
can't go wrong with black and gold. Black and white and gold.
Yeah.
So.
This one, I just figured, what would I want to see driving down the freeway? So just a big old drink cider. You get ridiculous with it. So I had to put the little colors on the bottom. Otherwise, it would have just been too simple.
For sure.
Just a big old type, to me is the answer. But
yeah, I think with it's funny throwback all like the first shirts we ever had, I made myself with like a heat press and transfer graphics and stuff. And so we had like Incline Cider on the front, but just the back in huge letters top to bottom was just drink more cider.
Nice.
I love
So I was like, okay, there's a little throwback.
See, I should
like the C.
We could do more like almost vertical type, like drink more
I
cider.
should have put more on
It looks good on there.
Yeah, like you see the C as like almost like a, it's the branding element that comes from the logo, and you're like, oh yeah,
For sure.
It starts to, come together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just good classic
Yeah.
branded
Yeah.
piece. Utilizing some of those triangles from the badges and stuff.
Yep. Love this one. Was like that's right up the alley. That's like that's on
true
point.
To the can,
Yeah, I was
true
gonna
to
say,
true
it
to the
feels like the
badge.
can.
Yeah, right.
And
away.
kind of like timeless
Yep.
too. Like this isn't gonna go out of style for anything we have going on.
Yeah, it's not a gimmick. Yeah.
Yep.
It's snag a cold one.
Loved this one. And again, with like kind of that angled stripe, kind of gives it that funky little retro vibe a little bit.
Even a little motion. So when you're the guy driving and you have this rig pass you on the right or left, it has some motion to it.
Yeah, like this one, and I think one of the other ones we'll see. It's like it reminds me of like it's like a really clean like billboard, just like what I would want to see on like a billboard driving past. And if someone,
do you got any billboards?
We do not.
We got to make that happen.
All right. Unfortunately, marketing has not been the only budget of anything in the marketing range has gone to you guys to work on a couple of designs.
Right.
So we keep it pretty low key, but
That's cool.
this one's similar.
Another one,
super cool.
Totally different look when you do that whole trailer in black.
Yeah.
Black
Absolutely.
and gold.
Oh,
Like totally different feel.
Yep.
On blast.
Yeah.
Even just to utilize the shirt graphic, Dave killed that.
100%.
Same.
Yeah, just
kind of angle, fun angle.
Yep.
It's cool.
Kind of an iteration of that I think the second one or the third one that we looked at. Similar vibes.
Yeah, really trying to keep it on brand.
Yeah.
Yep. I think the prior to that, those were immediate kind of like gravitated towards those three.
That one.
Yep. But
Okay.
yes, we'll play around with those a little
Okay.
more. But
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
super,
Yep. We're in the
super
beginning
close
stages
there.
of the trailer graphics. So
Yep.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was a fun project to work on.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
Right.
It's something different too. You know, again,
Yeah.
I was like, in terms of doing the trailer graphics or something, it just get some different eyes on it. And see your guys' take on something that's 40 feet wide. But,
Yeah,
you know.
it's a
Yeah.
unique canvas to work
Yep.
with.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And when it's done, it's gonna look amazing.
It's gonna be on. It's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
be big.
You guys
We're
will
gonna
see
be-
it cruising
we're gonna be
around
hyped, yeah, to see
PDX in Vancouver.
I'll be
Totally.
hyped on that.
That'd be
Yep.
rad.
Honk at
I'll
the
be chasing it
dealership.
down like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
get a photo.
selfie.
Yeah.
in front.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Right on.
All right. Till next time. Hit that like button,
Subscribe,
subscribe, whatever.
comment. What do the kids
everybody.
say?
Whatever
I
you
don't
do on
know.
YouTube.
We'll have Jordan do it. I don't know.
Grab a cold
Yeah.
one, snag a cold one, and get outside.
Yeah,
There we
exactly.
go.
Snag a cold one.
Yeah, get off the YouTube.
Yeah.
Go grab a
exactly.
cold one.
Quit watching the videos and get outside.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you.